You know the drill. Details of an upcoming movie have come out, and because a woman, or oh no, a woman of color is being rumored to be cast in it, the internet is losing its mind. In this case, it has to do with a rumored next Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And so there is a report that the sort of lead role that typically has been held by Jack Sparrow, by Johnny Depp, is instead going to go to star of The Bear, as well as a number of other things, Ayo Edebiri. So you might have seen she hosted SNL this last week, and she would be taking the lead of a new, more younger focus Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And yeah, people are not happy about it online, or at least some people whose entire personality is based around only wanting to see men who look exactly like them lead up movies. Chief amongst them is Elon Musk, who posted "Disney sucks." And I will remind you, the richest man in the world literally bought a social media platform so that he could whine about women getting movie roles and tons of incels would see it. And that's what he's doing here. He's angry that this talented, funny actress might be in a movie. That's what he's mad about. And he's not the only one. A lot of people who, of course, all have the blue check mark are angry too. One says nobody will watch this without Depp. When are they going to learn? Well, look, part of that I think might let us know that we have to provide a little bit of nuance to this. This is not just a thing of racism. For many, it is. It's not just a thing of misogyny, although for many it is. There are people who are just way too committed to individuals, I suppose. But I will remind Ashko that the previous movies all featured Jack Sparrow. In fact, the last couple kind of focused on Jack Sparrow, and I think that devoted fans of the franchise know that that didn't necessarily help the franchise. Jack Sparrow was great in moderation. Once the entire franchise was put on his shoulders, those last movies sucked, okay? And not nearly as many people watched them as watched the earlier ones. So if you're Disney, are you not gonna change up your formula a little bit? You just wanna just keep doubling down on Johnny Depp focused Pirates movies until literally nobody shows up? But again, Smitty says Disney will never learn. The fan base will never learn that sometimes mixing it up and putting in a little bit of new blood, not necessarily a bad thing. Brett Pike is angry about this, but specifically because he's concerned about African American actors, says Disney has a really low opinion of black people. They constantly cast them to play the roles of white historical figures, and the only black nation they decided to make a movie about didn't actually exist. I call it the Wakanda policy. That is not literally the only movie that has ever been made. Oh my God, watch some films before you comment on them. But this is just concern. They're only giving these formerly white roles to black actors, and that's why it's a problem. So that's a reference to the fact that the character might be based in part on Bonnie Ann, I think is her name, a female pirate, or like theoretically a pirate, an Irish figure from the past, who obviously all of these commenters were devotees of this historic figure in the past. Like they couldn't go a day without talking about how committed they were to this Irish historical figure that they now suddenly are experts on. But anyway, Jack Sparrow drew influence from a bunch of people. That's what characters do, okay? And the thing is, like trying to pretend that their concern is just primarily about what they call blackwashing, which is literally insane. The idea that you're giving these roles to people of color. No, I understand this is a historical figure, yes, and Bonnie was real. But that you can't base anyone else, like, does anyone remember this? Can we put up this poster? This is the Lone Ranger. There's Johnny Depp on the left. Does anyone remember that? Do we think that like Elon Musk would have said that Disney sucks as a result of that? Or a whole bunch of people would be in the comments like, how dare you? That's unacceptable. Why shouldn't white people just play white roles? Why are they taking the other roles? Look, I understand that this is just a thing that has always bothered me, will always bother me. But I do not understand why it is so difficult for these people to watch movies that star or even include women, people of color, people who do not look exactly like them. Why is it that these men refuse to watch a movie that does not mean that they'll be staring at a man the entire time? Why is that? What is the difference? Like, it's not like Pirates has never had women before. It's not like they haven't been awesome additions to the cast before. And look, we've been sort of like, I want to focus this last part on Ayo Edebiri, because she is like an up and coming big actress who has shown that not only can she do dramatic parts, but she is genuinely funny. She's literally a comedian and a writer, has written for years on comedy series. She can do physical comedy as well. Do any of these people, like, did they do a minute of research into this actress before they announced that she could never do well in the role? I don't understand this as a way to go about your life. Like the idea that only these men that you've been familiar with and comfortable with for literally decades are the only ones that can ever be in movies. It's utterly pathetic. But that's why they like Elon Musk being a part of this. They want the idea that whining about people being cast that aren't white is somehow like a big thing. It's a laudable thing. It's a moral thing. And Elon Musk being on board gives them that cover. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.